As a man, in life and on the dance floor, we lead. There's something inside of us that we want to lead. Also, why I use the dance floor metaphor is because women want us to lead. And what's great about dance, as someone who's been dancing for years, mainly salsa, there's clear roles, right? You can't have two people leading a dance. It's kind of like driving a car. You can have a co-pilot, they're along for the ride. They can share, they can give some directions, they can give perspective, but they're never driving. Why is that important? If we look at dance as a metaphor, but something that really teaches us in reality, it can teach us really quick how we show up as a man. So in salsa, you could dance salsa, bachata, merengue, tango, these different partner dances. We'll take salsa, because that happens to be my favorite, that I dance the most. When you turn a girl, you can be rigid and extra strong and like throw her, and it's uncomfortable for her. It doesn't feel more masculine. It's like overly alpha, which is a fake sense of self. Like having to be super strong, having to be controlling, aggressive. But on the other hand, if you're really delicate and you don't turn her or you're not leading her, she's not gonna know where you're going. So for her, she'd probably actually choose the firmness, even though it's not as nice and gentle, over a guy where I go, this guy's really nice, but I don't know where he wants me to go or what's going on. So why is this important in relationships? Because some guys, especially, let's say they're in personal development and they've went maybe a bit too far into the spiritual stuff, they can become too passive. I know I've done that in my past. And they can become too wishy-washy, where a woman, believe it or not, likes, first of all, that you can know and anticipate what she needs. And then also go, hey, let's say it's your girlfriend, your wife. Hey, wear that dress I like and be ready at 7. I got plans for us and you're gonna have fun. What she knows is she doesn't have to think about the dance move. She knows you got her on the dance floor. It gives a sense of safety, certainty, and direction to a woman. So why dancing is so nice and just so unique is because it mirrors both. And I remember, this was like about 2 years ago, I was out dancing and I wasn't as good as I am now. And there was a guy there and I've never seen anything like it. Like when I've had errors or, my Spanish hasn't been perfect, I know, okay, I gotta learn these 3 steps so I can get there. By the way, if you're tuning into this for the first time, I live in Medellin, Colombia, so I lived in Latin America for the better part of a decade. I'm from the States, from the Midwest, but been here a while. This is home, love it here. So as I was at this club 2 years ago, I'm sitting and watching this guy and I'm going, I have no idea how he does that. And I'm going, it's almost like he's stronger and he's able to lead better. Simultaneously, he's more delicate with her body. Like he's not grabbing her, but he's not like, can lead like this. If you want to lead like, he's not doing it too soft where she doesn't know where he's going. Because she literally needs with his hands, with how he moves his feet, with mainly his hands. His hand on her hand and then also in her back, how she's supposed to move. So if he's said differently, if he's too feminine or too sensitive, she has no idea, right? And if he's too strong, he comes off as harsh. So I'm watching this guy, his name's, and we'll say it in kind of American accent, his name's Mario. And I'm just going, oh my God. I was like, I don't want to dance with any of the women that dance with this guy. Now, this is a couple years ago. Because I was like, I know how Latinos can be. And they can equate what happens on the dance floor to what happens in the bedroom. I was like, I can't compete. And it was a really good night for breaking down my ego a bit. So I'm watching and I'm just mesmerized because it was this imbalanced balance. Now, what does that mean? Because the truth is, a woman doesn't want a guy who's like 50% masculine, 50% feminine. Do I believe there's a perfect ratio? No. However, if you're a guy who's in touch with his heart, his balls, his masculinity, she wants to feel more of that than his sensitivity. So she wants an imbalanced balance, meaning she wants 70% then. I'm just making up a number. Excuse me. And to see this guy do that was like amazing. It taught me so much about salsa. I'd learned a lot with salsa, a lot of metaphors, a lot of learnings. However, that night, I was like, this is maybe one of the most powerful things to learn as a man, where you're not able to complete the steps on the dance floor. It's kind of like you don't have part of your plan, so she can't feel safe. And it's weird for guys to understand the perspective of women, because women really want to let go. I wouldn't say women want to submit. Some do. I would say it a little differently. Women want to feel so safe with a guy that they know he can lead the way and she trusts him in that. When people say, oh, I want to do this, and I need a woman to submit to me, that can be coming just from pain or control. Women want to feel safe enough where they surrender, where they trust your lead. As one of my female friends says it, she goes, because I can drive really well, I'm saying it as a metaphor, I can drive really well, but I've never felt totally safe enough to give the guy the keys. So when you dance salsa, you also learn that all women are different. So if you just dance like with a teacher, like I did when I first started, you learn a lot, but you only learn so much. Once you go out and you start to dance, I was out dancing 2 weeks ago, and it was a Latin girl from New York, didn't speak Spanish. I think she was Puerto Rican, but she's like Latin enough for Westerner standards. But her salsa, not good, because she's new. So the way she dances is super different. Her ability to let go is different because she can't tell the difference between a guy who's really going to lead on the dance floor and a guy who kind of is going to lead. So when you dance, you learn not just how to lead, but that every woman is so different. As guys, we sometimes think, well, I learned this thing and I can go and apply it to everything. And sometimes you can go, I learned this thing and it applies to the gym in this way. Great. I learned this thing and it applies pretty straightforward to money. Women are such fluid creatures that when you learn to dance, you go out at a night, you dance with 10 different women. Some are going to be great. Some are not going to be so great. And the goal, which has changed for me over time personally, friends, clients, can you get good enough at knowing how to lead, knowing how to understand the flow in life, the flow on the dance floor, that you're able to dance with a girl who can barely dance and you make her look good and she's really able to let go. Now you go, that can't be possible. You can watch a female professional teacher do that. She'll grab a girl who barely knows how to dance, can dance just a little, and she'll make that girl look great. Now you go, did you just make this video today, Phil, to endorse dancing? Kind of, but not really. We learn best when we don't know that we're learning. So if we're going and reading the how to lead in a relationship and and some masculine, feminine dynamic from a book, that can be a great start. But it's not really where the rubber meets the road. When you actually get out there and do something, making love in the bedroom, another great one. More on that in another video. But salsa, when it comes to leadership on the dance floor, leadership with women, leadership in life, to actually have enough security to go, okay, I'm gonna confidently fail. Because if you meekly fail, it's like you didn't even do it. At least I failed and I left it all out there on the table and I felt like an idiot, but then I realized no one cares and I learned something. So it's such a great metaphor for life, and it's something that's actually in your body. And what I've found, whether it's myself, friends, clients, when you learn how to dance, it unlocks another part of you. You're also just able to show up differently as a man. You have more confidence on the dance floor. You have more confidence in life. You have more confidence in the boardroom, and you have more confidence in the bedroom. Go out there, try a few lessons. Salsa, bachata, those two are better. Merengue, kind of boring. Tango, haven't really done it. I think I did one lesson. But when you go, and these are everywhere, by the way, you go learn that, it accesses a different part of you to understand the delicateness, the sensitivity of a woman, and what a woman needs to feel safe in order to let go so you can lead as she already wants you to.